Okay, so to start off, prior to jumping into actually learning how to program, I thought I'll go over the topic, what is a computer? Well, according to Wikipedia, if you were ever to Google this question, you probably have used a computer in this day and age somewhere. But according to Wikipedia, the definition is a computer is a machine that can be instructed to carry out sequences of arithmetic or logical operations automatically via computer programming. Modern computers have the ability to follow generalized sets of operations or instructions called programs. These programs enable computers to perform an extremely wide range of tasks. So, in a nutshell, if you've ever been wondering what a computer is, that's what it is. It performs calculations as well as follows instructions. Okay, so the main parts of the computer. At the highest level, I would say it's important to know that a computer is composed predominantly of two parts, hardware and software. Hardware is the stuff you can actually hold in your hand. It's physical, while software are the instructions you give to this computer that will tell it to do different things. Okay, so as with everything, even hardware and software can be broken up into different parts and types. With regards to the hardware, I like to identify the following 6 main hardware components. Other people might break it up into different things, but actually 7. I'll throw another one on there. So the main parts, hardware components of the modern computer are the computer, the motherboard, the hard drive, power supply, RAM, the video card, and the sound card. Now, as time has progressed, previously, in many cases, these were actually separate components. But as hardware evolved, computer hardware evolved, they often combine these components in order to reduce how much space they take. Okay, so now let's start off with the CPU. What is the CPU? Well, the CPU is basically the brains of the computer. So like we have a brain, the computer has a brain. And just like our brain, the CPU, what the CPU does is follow instructions and perform computations. What it does not have is long-term memory. Some people can argue because they have something called cache, which will allow the embedded in the CPU, which will allow it to store a small segment of information. But we're not going to get into that now. For now, whenever someone mentions the CPU or central processing unit, think performing instructions and calculations. That's what it does. The next part is the motherboard. The motherboard is what holds everything together, just like the mother in the family holds the family together and takes care of everyone. The motherboard does too. Every single component in a computer plugs into the motherboard, and the motherboard coordinates everything working together. Now, the hard drive. You've probably heard of this term before. Back in the 80s, not many people knew what this was. Well, just like we have memory, the hard drive is like our long-term memory. It's used to store information and programs. Now the power supply. Just if I was to relate this to a person, power supply could be it allows you to regulate voltage and stuff coming into your computer. It basically gives power to everything. Feeds power into the different components that require additional power. So it'd be like your circulatory system. Those are the wires, and your stomach would be like the main reserve of power. But in reality, your power supply plugs into a plug, and then it feeds in. So it allows you to give energy to the different components of a computer in a way that won't damage them. Now RAM, like the hard drive is long-term memory, the RAM would be considered more short-term memory. So it's faster than the hard drive, and it's used for performing or storing information you need to access more rapidly. And then finally, the video card and sound card. Just like the name indicates, the video card is used to process images and um, feed them into your monitor. So it allows you to actually view things and view more complex graphics as required. In sound card, oftentimes these days, the sound card is merged as a circuit onto the motherboard, but that used to be in the olden days a separate card that would allow you to listen to music and such. So those are the main hardware components of the modern computer. So now let's look at the main types of software. I'm grouping it up into 3 types of software: operating system, applications, and drivers. Well, your operating system is basically like, if you've ever used a computer, it's like Windows or Mac OS. It's basically the first thing that starts up when you run your computer. Now you have applications that run on, and the operating system also takes care of a lot of low-level activities and abstracts them from you. Like it allows applications, which are programs that run on top of operating systems and often use functionality provided by the operating systems, to run on different types of computers. So it adds a layer of ease of use, basically, and ease of interaction with different types of computers. Applications are programs that you use every day, like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, video games, your browser. Those are programs that you run after starting your computer. And then finally, drivers. Drivers are installed in your operating system in order to interact with different types of hardware. Like whenever you plug something in, it needs to be communicated with in a certain way. So applications and your operating system can't do this off the bat. So what drivers allow you to do by installing them will allow you to use like webcams, different headsets, will allow you to use your video card with your particular applications seamlessly just by installing this program. So those are the 3 types of software. If you didn't get that, feel free to read up on this on the internet. I just wanted to expose you to these topics. They're not very important when programming, but they'll help when you are dealing with programmers in order to understand what they're talking about, because these terms will come up quite often. So yeah, so that's an introductory computer, what is a computer lecture. I hope you got something out of this. And now let's get into programming, which is why you're here, of course.